Delphi Community School Corporation Fine Arts Pathway, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving down to 5G. We're doing a lot of these individually due to quotes and dollar amounts, so we can have some discussion here. 5G is sidewalk repair. Can I get a motion to discuss this?
I move that we approve the sidewalk repair, item G.
Okay, we were presented with a quote here. Is there any discussion on that sidewalk repair?
Where's this one at?
All over the place. Ross can go through it.
Yeah, this is repairing elementary, high school, middle school. I am expecting another bid, hopefully I was supposed to get it last Friday, but I didn't, from David Benedict, which is a local concrete contractor. Hopefully, it might be a little less.
Okay, so do you want us to?
You want
put
us
it?
to table this, or?
Yeah, I would like to,
Okay, that's fine.
but chunk of change. We're gonna hold it.
Okay, well, we'll just pull 5G for today.
Is there any repair gonna be done over at Camden?
We can, if there needs to be. I'm not aware of anything in Maine, but sidewalk.
Well, right there in front of what used to be the gym, the curb is broke down. That either needs to be like ground down and just done away with, or put the curb back up.
All right, take some pictures and send them to David.
Okay. Yeah, we get a motion to table the sidewalk repair until next meeting.
Second.
All in favor of tabling the sidewalk repair? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 5H, the CECC building carpet. Can we get a motion for approval of the carpet?
Mr. President, I move we accept the bid from Creative Floor Coverings for the Camden carpeting at $24,127.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the carpet approval for creative floor coverings?
What's being done on that?
There's a couple classrooms
Couple classrooms
and
office area.
Front hallway, library, room one,
library.
and room one, but then it says 122, and then room 123.
Okay, we want to look at the, old principal, because of the sewage issue, we're about in there, that
I
may,
talked to them, and they said it's clean. I talked to Brian. He said it was clean and it was just water.
okay, well, we'll just take a look and maybe look it up.
I did go in there right after the
Right.
cap, but I did talk to Brian.
That way, remove all that and cover the cost out.
Okay, all in favor of the CECC building carpet, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 5I, we have a roofing project, looks like Henshaw Roofing and Metal Company. Can I get a motion on the floor for the roofing?
I make the motion to approve the roofing provided by Henshaw Roofing and Sheet Metal Company at $148,100.
Second.
Any discussion on the two sections that are being addressed?
Which section are we in, just for public record?
And it's 12.
Yeah, I know, but we're, what building?
That's it, the elementary.
Elementary,
Yeah, it's the elementary,
Okay,
sorry. yeah.
just for public record, at the elementary, thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the roofing project with Henshaw Roofing and Sheet Metal Company for $148,100 to repair sections 12 and 10 at the elementary school? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 5J, we're looking for permission to create a position for mental health support specialist. Can I get an approval or a? Yeah, can I get a motion for approval for that?
I make a motion to approve the creation of the position mental health support
Second.
Mrs. Circle, do you have any input on that?
Mrs. Kirkwood is here.
So the Student Services Department, both the elementary, middle school, and high school, this year is seeing an increase in our mental health within our students substantially, not just little things, but things that are taking hours and hours of our time from being able to service the students, main student population. So what we're asking is that we have a person that can be like a second hand, so like when we get to a stage with a student that they know they need mental health, but we can't place them, because in Carroll County right now, we just can't find therapists in the area. And the wait list is so long that we need an interim. So this would be an interim until they could get into somebody else to see. And that would allow the counselors to continue to do their counseling job and still service the students that have the high needs.
Supposed to be for corporate wide.
It's specifically for 6 through 12,
Okay.
but it would be for emergencies corporate-wide.
Okay.
And that is only because Family Health Clinic has someone in the elementary already. The other thing that this person would do is to help oversee our telehealth students. And these are students that can't find a counselor in Carroll County, so they're literally Zooming counselors. The problem with that is you need to make sure that your student is closed down and ready to go into the classroom after they've finished counseling. And sometimes that takes another 5 or 10 minutes, and this person will be able to help regulate them to get into class.
So is there any thoughts to where they will be housed at?
We had an intern this year that pretty much did a lot of this for us, and we found it to be hugely beneficial. We would probably look at putting her in that, or him in that space, which is, I believe, Jan Israel's old space. And then what Monica and I had talked about is also finding a space in the middle school, so the kids don't have to go back and forth. This
That's what I
person
was-
would go back and forth.
So the balance.
What is the actual training of this person? What are they
So we're
certified?
asking for, MSW, LSW is what we're asking for. Somebody who has a counseling degree that is, able to get out and understands mental health, specifically mental health.
Do you have any other questions?
What's our,
Full-time position?
Yes, sir.
These students referred?
We've got,
Yeah, teacher. It's gonna go with that part. Which I think we've probably got that maybe. Some different things.
That sounds doable.
Are students
Any help
referred
would
to
be
you?
helpful.
Are
Pardon me?
students referred to this specialist?
They would go through the counselor.
And then
So, yeah, so like, for example, we have students that, I have 1 or 2 students that are taking up somewhere between 2 to 3 hours every day of my time. This person, I would then refer to this person, and they would be able to help with the regulation, so I can deal with the other 250 kids in my. Thank you.
Maybe Steve's point, do we need to have a, dollar amount or anything on it at this point, or will that be when we come back to hire?
That would be hired. All we're doing is permission.
Just thinking.
Yeah.
So
That
we'll-
is on here on the job description, 184 days, 7:30 to 3:40.
Okay,
Up to then 10 additional days before or after school year, following the academic calendar. This would actually be the position.
and it will be all under what Marty, you said. Okay.
okay, any other questions on creating the position for mental health support specialist? Okay, all in favor of creating the position for mental health specialist, support specialist, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Bless you.
Okay, Okay, 5K here, looking for a motion for approval of job descriptions to be added to the classified handbook for maintenance director and pre-K lead teacher.
Second.
To be, I believe, basically, we just did not have these descriptions in the handbook, correct?
Correct, even after the hours and hours we worked on the classified handbook, and we're finding when, you know, Greg and Mara are retired, we don't have this in our handbook, so we're trying to make sure we clean up, we have actual job descriptions to post. The other one that I did not realize we didn't have in there was that preschool lead teacher was not in the handbook. And something that I talked to Mr. Pop about, and Ms. Hokenauer, is that position, they're actually teaching, planning, grading, all of that stuff. So I did suggest that we increase the pay rate to starting at $14 an hour rather than starting at 12, since they're doing teaching, planning, I mean, the whole thing. So, and I would need to switch this, as you pointed out, Mr. Schwarzkopf, because on the job description, I went 7.5, so I can change that to 8. And with that said, then that also, Ms. Blanche Beeman, I would increase her $1 because her starting salary had been at 14, which you already is in the so I'm asking for permission to place these into the classified handbook that we have already board approved earlier. These job descriptions. I'm sure it will not be the last one that I miss.
Okay, any other questions on 5K for the approval of these job descriptions? Okay, all in favor of 5K, the approval of the job descriptions to be added to the classified handbook for maintenance director and pre-K lead teacher, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 5L here, looking for a motion to discuss the 2023-2024 meal prices for the school cafeterias.
Mr. President, I move to accept the 2023-2024 meal prices as presented for voting.
Mrs. Circle, if I understand this correctly, basically these are state-driven prices and they're just updating them for the handbook. It does look like prices went up by about 10 cents a meal.
The state gives that to us.
Was there any discussion on those meal prices? He did.
Yes, he's-
I cut him off, sorry. Okay, with no other discussion, all in favor of 5L, the 2023-2024 meal prices, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 5M, voice systems, K time for $5,605. This is operations and software line. Can I get a motion for approval?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Circle, can you fill us in on that?
That's our, basically our time clock software system.
So,
For the
we're
classified.
just continuing to use the
Yeah.
software. It's an annual
It's
fee
an
that we
annual
pay.
fee.
Does it offer an app kind of set up?
No, it's not.
Okay, some of them do, and then they have a geo fence where you have to listen to it.
Look at guys.
Excuse me, any other questions for 5M? Okay, all in favor of 5M voice systems, K-time for $5,600.05, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Good.
Motion carries.
Jeez.
Sorry. Two more here, 5O, looking for a motion for the DCES playground equipment for developmental pre-K.
I move we approve the DCES playground equipment request for developmental pre-K.
Second.
Okay, and we're looking got the preferred quote here for kinetic recreation, for $46,848. Looks like we're looking to spend $15,000 out of the special education fund, and then the rest will be covered by the 2021 bond. Are there any questions? And Maureen would be, Mrs. Stansberry would be the person for that.
Stand here. So I was able to get one company to come out and view the property and give us some recommendations. They happen to be the most expensive one. I don't know if you saw those numbers for quote 3, but I almost had a stroke when I did. They were lovely, but that's quite a bit out of our price range. The quote number 2, it's equipment that's very comparable to the one in quote 1, but they don't provide any installation services. And I did ask about our maintenance department and maybe custodial staff being able to do that, but there's so many regulations about the surface area and all those kinds of things, as well as all of their summer projects that they already have. It made the most sense for us to go with a company that we've worked with in the past. Kinetic Recreation actually did a lot of our playground equipment that's over there now as well, some of those newer pieces. So it's probably going to take us quite a bit of time to get that in, so it won't be ready to go as soon as the kids come in the fall, but I'm hoping that maybe towards the end of the summer we'll be able to start some installation. Do you have any questions about specifically what the equipment is? One of the pieces that we really wanted to include was an adaptive swing, and not just a one-person adaptive swing. We're looking at one of those saucer swings that a couple of kids can get on and enjoy at the same time.
Where will this be located?
It's gonna be right behind the cafeteria. That was a suggested location where those 2 big trees are, so that we have those for a little bit of shade as well. And there's a nice open space there where we could put these 2 items.
Will this have the, what it's called nowadays, kind of the soft, underlay, gravel,
Yes.
rubberized, whatever that is?
Yeah, there will be, I can't remember what it's called, we'll use the mulch like we have but under there's a soft surface that has to be certain dimensions. And this company is very familiar with those guidelines, and like I said, they've installed our equipment in the past, and we've had pretty good luck with it.
Turnkey operation.
And that's behind the cafeteria? Does that will that need to be fenced in?
There is a fence over just beyond where the one little soccer net is, and then there's a fence that kind of goes back. So it's within the same parameters as the rest of the playground. It's not fully enclosed, just like the rest of the playground, but it is in that same space where the other fencing is.
I'm trying to fit your house.
I'm lost.
Mr.
Yes,
Hall, can you-
so it's on the east side of the cafeteria? Right next to where administration parks? Right there, in that grass area? So there's really not fenced in.
There's no fence there. Nothing
That
out
may be
there.
something we need to discuss. As far as I was understanding, there was some fencing, when I went out there, just beyond where that soccer net was.
Not
Not all the way
sides,
through, yeah.
not all
So we may have to
sides.
add some additional pieces. We will have, very adequate supervision as well. We'll have 2 or 3 people out with the kids.
That's what,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
come up with a map.
Okay.
Not worried
You
about.
asked me directions.
I think,
Not giving me some.
I think they're thinking 10.
Since we have this roofing map, it'll
That's what I
help.
was envisioning.
That's a small area.
Oh, right.
I think it's gotta be outside of 10. 'Cause that's the only place that shade trees, there's no shade trees over there. You gotta dig it out. Yeah, that's what I said. There's no shade trees except for that little one in front by where, right?
We're on the north side of the gym.
Okay,
Yeah.
The
that
north
makes more
side.
sense than the
Yeah,
cafeteria.
okay, yeah, so there is a fence there. was gonna say, 2 trees, I didn't think there was any. That makes a lot more
Okay.
sense.
Thank you.
Made sure we were awake. Yes, that's what I thought.
All right, are there any other questions? Playground. Okay. All in favor of 5O DCES playground equipment from developmental pre-K, which is the preferred quote, or excuse me, for developmental pre-K for $46,848. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I've slowed down this time. So it's 2 times last time. Okay, 5P, IT Savvy, Go Guardian for $8,505. This is a 1-year textbook rental fund. Can I get a motion for that?
Second.
Okay, any questions about the IT Savvy? Emery, can you?
It's the Go Guardian, the teachers are voting, and they can control what sites the kids are on. So they literally can lock down and say, okay, you have to be on this site. Anything I'm missing there, Scott?
They can monitor what the kids are looking at and get a time as well. So, we've not in the classroom, if they're in ISS or wherever, they can still see what they're doing.
We're currently using it, right?
Yeah, we're on.
We're
we've
on
been
it
a year and a
now.
half now, yeah,
Okay.
so, yeah,
So
they take it away from the
This is
teacher.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, the teachers really want it.
And I may have spoke a little wrong, but the textbook rental fund, so this is going to be covered by the fees, is that correct?
Yes, that's one of the dollar amounts that's in there.
So this is in that,
Put in that $43.
Yeah,
in the $43 we discussed earlier, this is actually covered into that, so basically we're just approving to continue the use of the other. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor of the IT Savvy Go Guardian teacher for $88,505, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving forward, number 6 here, school board information. We have some current field trips here. The CECC kindergarten, and the DCES, their purpose will be going to the kindergarten will be going to the DCES campus for the career fair, and that is on May 12th. Also, DCES, the 3rd grade class will be going to the Monticello City Park. Last one. So we have one here for on May 11th. The 3rd grade class will go to the Monticello City Park for a pen pal meet up. Now, we also have some past field trips here just to recognize. We had the DCHS special ed went to Indiana Beach for employment onboarding. DCMS and DCHS livestock judging, that happened on April 14th at Carroll High School. Also, the DCMS, DCHS livestock judging happened on April 15th at North Miami High School. DCHS livestock judging happened at Elkhart County Fairgrounds on April 25th. So there's a lot of excitement and judging there, busy. And then also the DCHS RYLA students went to Camp Tecumseh for the Rotary Youth Leadership Academy. That was on April 28th. Okay, 6C, we have the Title IX restroom discussion. So we have several people here. Basically, I will call the names written in for the attendance. As stated in the beginning, every person that speaks has 3 minutes to discuss, with a total of 15 minutes, which I don't believe we have that many people to talk about anymore. So, first up, we have Pat Cole, which would like to speak on that. And please come to the podium and state your name and your address prior to your comments.
I'm Pat Cole, and I live in Delphi.
Superintendent. I believe Title IX was created to give biological women their own spaces, but I feel like the society these days is trying to erase us. And some girls actually are standing up for themselves saying, we don't want to share our restrooms and our sports and everything with the biological males tending to be females. So, and I have a niece who plays softball over at Carroll, so this is kind of a concern for me. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. We also have Jamie Weiss.
Jamie Weiss from Delphi. Children come to me talking about how they're feeling unsafe, violated, sexually discriminated against being as a biological male or female. Privacy has been taken away, awkward to go to the bathroom. That's just a few words of the student body from this high school. We have been taught what makes a male and a female. It's in our DNA. Males have one X and one Y chromosome. Females have the two X chromosomes. No argument there. It's science. The school board, the staff of the school, and the Indiana Department of Education all have a job to protect our children, to teach them the facts, not fiction and feelings. That is not what should be doing here. Where's y'all's agenda of keeping our kids safe? There have been many schools throughout our country that have crime has been committed, starting with transgender kids, using a bathroom as they identify it as. Many kids. States are starting to outlaw it because of safety issues. It's not about feelings, it's facts. I have been told of single-use bathrooms for my children to use. They're being pushed out of their biological bathroom. Their rights are being taken away. My boys don't even feel comfortable going to the bathroom in school. My daughter doesn't know of anybody of the opposite sex going in her bathroom. And I pray that never happens. When's the school board gonna start stepping up for my kids' rights and majority of these kids' rights? When are you gonna start discriminating against biological children, or the male and female? Because that's what it is. Y'all are pushing my biological boys out of the bathroom, pushing my biological female daughters out of the female bathroom. I've been told there's a single bathroom to use if my children don't feel safe in the bathroom. How many students are in the school that don't feel comfortable? Are they gonna be excused from classes when they're late, when there's a line behind this bathroom? When's that education gonna be made up from line waiting? Is the school board ready to hear a lawsuit on my kids' rights being taken away? Y'all need to start listening to the majority of the parents in this community and your students.
All right, thank you. Mr. Zach Brown, you'll be next. Please come to the podium, state your name and address.
Zach Brown from Delphi. I don't really know a whole lot of what's going on. I didn't have a kid involved yet. But right now, all I've heard is females wanting to use the men's bathroom, the boys' bathroom. The first time I got a daughter in elementary school, a daughter in middle school. The first time a little boy walks in there, they have full permission, they're gonna drop him, period. It's not okay. I wouldn't stand outside of a Walmart bathroom and expect some old man or somebody that wanted to be a woman to go in there, it ain't happening. And I don't care. I help coach wrestling for high school. I coach girls softball. We don't have these issues. In those sports, we shouldn't have them in the school, period.
Thank you. Looks like we have, one more here, Tracy Ricard. Richard, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong.
Fine, happens all the time. It's pickers most of the time. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, like she said, it's mostly everybody, and I know it's not just you guys, but they're catering to the few, and it's hurting the many. So, that was my statement. But I also wanna thank all the parents for showing up, because there was a lot of stuff on Facebook. And I think if the parents are going to, say stuff online, then they need to be here in the school board meetings to talk to you guys about it. So, thank you.
I'd like Mrs. Spiker to just add to that real quick.
Sure. So for those of you who don't know me, who is most of all of you, so my name is Alyssa Spiker. I work for the law firm that represents the school corporation. This is not an uncommon topic of conversation among school corporations across the state. The, I guess, lay of the land as far as what the law is, Title IX, as to, what somebody had pointed out already, pulled it up, no person shall on the basis of sex be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. The problem is, for many school corporations across the country, is that there is very little guidance as far as what does that mean. There is Indiana falls under what's called the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. They're up in Chicago. That covers federal district courts for Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana. There was a case that was decided from the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals back in 2017. If anybody wants to look it up, you can. It's called Whitaker versus Kenosha United School District, where the Seventh Circuit was faced with a situation in which a school corporation had, as a kind of a means to enable a transgender student to use a bathroom that they were comfortable in, had required that the transgender student use a bathroom that was either unisex or gender neutral, or that they use a bathroom that matched their biological sex. It made its way up to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, where the Seventh Circuit held that that a policy that requires an individual to use a bathroom that does not conform with his or her gender identity punishes that individual for his or her gender nonconformance, which in turn violates Title IX. So that is, for our district, that is the highest court case that we have to go off of right now. There have been several decisions made from the Southern District of Indiana. I'm not sure where exactly the territorial line is, if Carroll County is part of the Northern District or the Southern District, but I know the Northern District, they look at cases from the Southern District and vice versa to see, kind of what are the judges thinking, what are we supposed to be going off of. So there have been, that I could find, 3 cases specifically dealing with bathrooms, all of which were decided by the Southern District of Indiana. One of them involving Evansville Vanderburg School Corporation. This case was decided in 2019. Looking at that case, the Southern District of Indiana held that a school district's practice of allowing a transgender student to only use bathrooms that were gender neutral was discriminatory and violated Title IX and the Equal Protection Clause. There are 2 other cases that have since been decided, and I should preface with that decision, the Evansville Vanderburg To my knowledge, it never went anywhere further. My understanding is that it settled out of court. For what, I don't know. But then there's two cases now that were decided by the Southern District of Indiana. One involving Vigo County School Corporation, one involving the Metropolitan School District of Martinsville. Both of which were decided last spring, summer. In both of those cases, the Southern District of Indiana granted a preliminary injunction filed by transgender male students who were prohibited from using male bathrooms at school. Both of those cases, the court sided with the students, saying that it was discriminatory, that they be required to use those gender-neutral bathrooms or bathrooms that match their biological sex. Those two cases have been appealed to the Seventh Circuit. They're consolidated. Arguments were heard in February. I don't know when the Seventh Circuit will be issuing a decision on that, nor do I know how they will be deciding that issue. At this point, all signs seem to indicate that the Seventh Circuit would uphold the lower court's decision, consistent with their earlier opinion in Whitaker, in that Kenosha case, finding that it would be discriminatory to require transgender students to use bathrooms that match their gender identity or to use gender-neutral bathrooms. That is kind of the trend. There was a case down in Florida, which is governed by the 11th Circuit, so it's not what we call precedential, meaning like we can't use that as a basis to say this is what's governing our district here. But there was a case that was decided December 30th of last year where the 11th Circuit sided with the school corporation and said no, that the school could require transgender students to use a gender-neutral bathroom. This is all setting this up to go to the Supreme Court at some point. I don't know when that's going to happen, but this is the law as it sits currently for Indiana schools. Again, it's subject to change, but this is where the law is at the moment. As everybody knows, the Supreme Court has had a tendency to overturn things as of late, so if this gets in front of the Supreme Court eventually, they may reject what the Seventh Circuit said in the Kenosha case and say, no, it is appropriate for schools to require that transgender use bathrooms that match their biological sex or are gender neutral. But this is what the law is as of today.
Okay, thank you. So with that information on 6C, we're going to move forward to 7, which is future dates. We've got several dates here. Most of us know graduation's just around the corner here, so there's a lot of things that are going to work into graduation here. May 16th, we have the PTA meeting at 7 p.m. at the DCES. May 17th, there's a middle school, high school choir concert at 7 p.m. in the Little Theater. May 22nd, the DCMS 6th grade orientation, that's at 5 p.m. at the DCMS middle school. May 23rd, we have the Camden Early Childhood Graduation, that is at 1 p.m. over at Camden. May 24th is the last student day, which also happens to be the 5th grade graduation at 11 a.m. at the DCES gym. May 25th, there's a teacher work day. There'll be breakfast awards at 7:30 a.m. at the at DCHS. May 26th will be the top 10 dinner. That's at 5:30 p.m. in the DCHS Commons, as well as senior night, which is at 7 p.m. In the DCHS gym. May 27th, as I spoke, is graduation. That's at 10 a.m. That's in the DCHS gym. On May 30th, we have the start of the DCHS summer school. On June 5th, we're followed up with the start of the DCES, DCMS summer school. And then on June 12th, we have a work session here at 6 p.m. in the DCMS Abbey and Libby Memorial Library, as well as the regular board meeting following at 7 p.m. Here in the Abbey and Libby Memorial Library. With all those future dates, basically we're going to go down to some board comments here, so I will start with Mr. Schwartzkopf.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming. It's always good to have the crowd here at the school board to understand what we have to do and what we have to go through. The safety of our kids, we do things here, we spend a lot of money to make sure our kids get what they deserve. But at times the state funding and stuff kind of ties our hands. And so we work on ways of getting around that. I also want to thank all those that are retiring or resigning, and best wishes to their next adventure in life. With that, I guess I'll leave more to the other board members.
All right, Mr. Priest.
I'd like to thank all of our guests that are here tonight. Thanks again for the people that worked on all those meal policies. I know that it's a lot of work. It's unappreciated. I want to thank Mr. Allen for his report on advanced manufacturing tonight. That's something I hope continues to do well. The student finals are coming up in a couple of weeks. I hope they do well on that. And Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up, and I just want all the teachers here in our corporation to know how much they appreciate it.
Okay. I think tonight I'm, just gonna echo the comments of the fellow board members ahead of me.
Mr. Nipple.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone in attendance tonight. Looking out and seeing the attendance here shows me that we have a lot of people in our community that are really concerned about our school. I don't know how many people, this is kind of off the subject a little bit, but last week we had a election in the state of Indiana, and I don't know how many people noticed, but I didn't see one failed referendum. All these school districts had referendums that passed. And all their referendums basically dealt with brick and mortar projects, expanding buildings. And it's a sad situation, I feel, that our people in this community didn't come forward and support a referendum to help support our teachers and our staff, which that was basically what that referendum was about. So this has really been bothering me now ever since our referendum failed. And I just wanted to get this out in the public that I'm very disappointed in the people that let this referendum fail, because we're trying to do everything we can to maintain our school, our staff, and their support staff. And when we were not able to get this referendum, it's going to really make us scrutinize what we're going to do next. So that's basically what I have to say.
Mr. Smith?
I also want to thank the public for attendance tonight and the comments that were shared. And good Jack,
Yeah.
I also want to thank Jack. What an exciting program that we're starting developing, and lots of kids are going to have a new opportunity because of that. So we definitely continue to support that. I also wanted to thank Greg Morrow. He's retiring. He stepped in 5-6 years ago now. We desperately needed him. He came up, he's been 4 or 5. But he was definitely the right person at the right time, and he took on a lot of work and has things cleaned up for us. So he's leaving it in really much better shape than he found it, and setting the stage for the next person as we begin to search to find somebody to replace him. So I want to thank him for his time at Delphi.
Quickly, good luck to our seniors as they finish their last month of high school and get prepared for what's next for them. Looking forward to graduation, and I will personally thank all the public comments this evening as well. It's always great to hear.
the views of the public, on the matters that affect our students and our community. One last thing, I wanna do a special thank you to, Mr. Dennison and his wife. They, and the elementary choir, performed at our church yesterday, and it was really and they sung with our choir, and it was great. I just enjoyed that and thought it was a great addition to our church service and, an experience for our elementary choir kids, so, that's all.
And I'm disappointed I went to second service, I guess, so, I missed it, I apologize for that, so, okay, good. There's several things, obviously a long agenda. I know thanking the public sounds like a broken record. I just want the public to realize what a meeting goes through. You can see what we go through every month. There's things on here. We love to hear the comments. It may not be comments people want to talk about, but we have to know what people feel. Obviously, sometimes there's decisions we just can't make on this board. So we just want people to hear us and understand that we do our best to make sure that we have the thoughts of everybody. I have kids in the school, I know everybody here does. So, I just wanna thank everybody for withstanding this meeting tonight. We're here, it's working after 8:30 now, so I appreciate that. Obviously graduation's coming up, that's always exciting. I hope everybody has safe graduation, and are ready to go on to their future endeavors. Also, these younger kids that get to move into, maybe into the middle school or even into just into kindergarten or moving on to that. That's always really exciting to get to move into the next level for those kids. So, obviously we have several graduation ceremonies. Hopefully we see some people there out of the public. I know it's always exciting when those kids just get to go across that stage. So other than that, I just have one more motion, and that's for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?